Welcome to the last week of the NFL season. This is the Statline podcast. This is Atlas.
And this is Safal. This is our first in-person episode right here in Raleigh, North Carolina. Happy to have you down here for the holidays and get this podcast, into this regular season, and it's been a good one.
Nah, it's been a great year. Great year of sports. A great calendar year of sports. If you go all the way back to the last year, we had great NBA playoffs, and then obviously this is probably I think this every single year. I think it's the best year of football that we've had, right? Like, the best NFL season we've had. Mahomes is out of the playoffs. Lamar might or might not be in the playoffs. He has to beat Aaron Rodgers.
It might be Tyler Huntley.
Yeah, that's true. It might be Tyler Huntley, even if the Ravens do make it. And then obviously the matchups we have this week, the games we had last week, just the caliber of sports, the fantasy championships this week. Derrick Henry popping out for 45 this week. Puka Nacua going out for 46 last week. What an absolute wild, fun, crazy year of sports. And I got to say one more thing, too, about the podcast. This has been, years, decades into the making at this point. We just completed our first great football year together. And yeah, it's great to be back on the pod. We've been taking some time off here and there, but it's all to get ready for this one in-person episode at the end of the year, end of the football season as well.
Yeah, this is so hype. Yeah, we've been waiting all season to get an in-person episode, over break, either up in New York or down here in North Carolina. So it's good to finally, be sitting side by side with you, talking some ball.
For sure.
Now, without further ado, we want to talk about our STEM League fantasy football experience this year, because you are still in a game currently right now.
Yeah, I'm cooked though. I'll lay the stakes here for you guys. I have Puka Nacua, Matt Stafford in the Monday night game. My opponent, Camden, has Bijan Robinson. He's up by 40 points. And I actually had a chance yesterday, but Juwan Jennings, at the very end of the game, he had 1 point all game long, and then fucking Brock Purdy throws it to Juwan Jennings, ruins my entire fucking Sunday, dude. But it's wraps. It's wraps. Good win to Camden, I guess, whatever they say. But yeah, and then we had a great fantasy football year as well. Up and down year for some people.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, 7 straight losses. I was taking this year off. It seems like, man, it was a bad year.
Josh Jacobs. Oh, who are your draft picks?
Amon-Ra. Josh
that was
Jacobs,
good. Amon-Ra.
Garrett Wilson got injured.
Oh, Garrett Wilson was a bust.
Quentin. Oh, I didn't even draft Quentin Johnson. But
you picked him
Diggs. Tyler Warren, he fell off. Kyle Pitts, he came on late,
The combination of Warren and Pitts.
Yeah, I've been running the 2 tight end set recently because I ain't got much else going on. But yeah, we're on to next season. I was in 3 leagues this year, made the playoffs in 1, and got bounced in the first round. So, guys, you don't have to take my information seriously this year because it's been an off year. But next year I'll be back with some good information.
For me, I was in 4 leagues. I made to the championship in 3 of my leagues. In one of them, I was like in 9th place or something out of 10 people. And then in the other 3 leagues, one is our high school league, I lost in the championship. In the other league, I was up by like 50 points, and my opponent had Bijan left. And Bijan right now has 30 points like in the second quarter, so we don't know what's going to happen there. And then in the other league, I was down by 12 points, and I had Bijan, and I think I got that one. But yeah, great year of fantasy. If you had to choose right now, who's your top pick next year? Puka?
Who's my top pick?
It's between Puka.
Dude, CMC.
CMC.
I don't know if I could take CMC right after he had a full.
You can't, dude. The injury risk is too high.
I feel like it's too high.
That is the question with CMC every year, right?
Yeah.
Is the injury risk worth it?
I think number 1 right now is Bijan. Like, Bijan's
you think so?
Had an insane year, and that's with 2 different quarterbacks. Got Raheem Morris running the ship down there in Atlanta. It's not like the best situation, but he somehow is a PPR beast, receptions wise, running the ball. Like, he is. And touchdowns too.
The fact that he can put up this amount of points with the weapons they have on that offense with Drake London, Kyle Pitts, that's a solid squad.
Tyler Algier as well. They love him.
The biggest vulture in the league. You take Bijan down to the 1 yard line and they bring on Algier, bro. It's Kenneth Walker or Zach Charbonnet in Seattle, and then Bijan and Tyler Algier down in Atlanta, man. I can't believe it.
It's pain, but when you're getting 93-yard touchdowns, you don't have to worry about Algier, I don't think, as much.
That's true. He did have a 93-yard touchdown earlier. Now, going back to the entire NFL landscape, Atlas, we had just massive games last week. Massive games coming up this week. What are you most looking forward to? We got that Sunday nighter in Pittsburgh against Aaron Rodgers and potentially Lamar Jackson, if not Tyler Huntley for the division. You got Sam Darnold and Brock Purdy out west for who becomes the number 1 seed of the NFC, and then you have the NFC South, man. Bryce Young, Baker Mayfield on who really wants to make it to the playoffs and get busted in round 1.
Yeah, it's not looking too good for the NFC South right now. You know, you guys are the laughing stuff of the league so far. And,
I mean, it could be a 7-win or 8-win Buccaneers team hosting a 13-win Rams team in the first round.
Dude, just think about it. The Falcons were just playing around and ended up only 1 game back from winning the division. Here at the end of the season.
Dude, you know if it's a tie at the end. If Tampa Bay beats Carolina and Atlanta wins out, I mean they're up 21-0 against the Rams right now, and Atlanta wins next week, Carolina wins the division. Because all 3 teams end at 8-9, and Carolina has the head-to-head. Or Carolina has the tiebreaker.
Wait, so you're saying if the Buccaneers win next week against you guys, then you could still make the playoffs?
Yes, as long as Atlanta wins tonight and next week.
Who does Atlanta play next week?
They play the Saints.
Dude,
it's doable. I mean, the bigger game, if that route. Obviously, as a Panthers fan, I want to get in by beating the Bucs. Mm-hmm. But if Atlanta wins tonight and Atlanta wins next week and Carolina loses next week, Carolina is still your NFC South champion, 8-9, hosting either the Rams or the Packers, or either the loser of Seahawks and the 49ers.
Wow, I didn't even know that, man. That's honestly huge because Atlanta doesn't need to rest any of their starters. They don't have a first round pick. No, they traded that for James Pierce, to the LA Rams, which LA Rams, regardless of what they do here in the playoffs, they'll still be set up pretty good with 2 first round picks next year. The rich get richer over in LA. I think they've.
I don't know how the Rams do it, man. They basically gutted their roster, right, and went all in on that Stafford Super Bowl. They brought in Von Miller, they brought in Odell, they brought in Jalen Ramsey. That was just a stacked, expensive roster. They were willing to give up 2 first round picks for Brian Burns. Carolina stupidly said no, and they had a couple of down years after that Super Bowl, and they're right back in it now. I don't understand how they've done it. And
Giving Puka in the 5th round is a big reason.
Yeah, that's true.
Jared Verse also.
When you can hit on the best receiver in football, hands down, I think after this year. I mean, it's probably Puka even over Chase.
Yeah,
I mean, you
Chase
definitely can't say Jefferson now.
Right now, and Puka, I think, are in the
top. Because you can't say Jefferson after the year he had.
I mean, you got 9 at quarterback. Let's get him at least
9 at quarterback's crazy.
Let's get him at least Malik Willis, and then we'll see what he does next year. I don't. Justin Jefferson's gotten 1,000 yards in every single season. He could still get it this year. I think with 60 more yards. I hate that J.J. McCarthy turned Justin Jefferson into Mike Evans. Okay, every year you got to get 1,000 yards. He should be getting 2,000 yards. He should be going for the.
I mean, up until this year, Justin Jefferson was unanimously in conversation for best receiver in the league, right? When he came into the league, it was Justin Jefferson or Cooper Kupp for who's the best receiver. Then it became Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase as the best receiver in the league, and it's been that conversation
flips every year.
Yeah, until this year, and this year it's now between. I think the top is Puka, and then it's between JSN and Chase for who's that second best receiver. I mean, I think I would still give it to JSN. He has Sam Darnold at quarterback, whereas Jamar Chase is Joe Burrow. So, I mean, it's a toss-up here and there. But if we talk that legacy conversation, we switch it to quarterbacks. We have 2 quarterbacks. I mean, a bunch of quarterbacks, actually. Josh Allen, his legacy's on the line in these playoffs without Mahomes. You got Aaron Rodgers. If Aaron Rodgers can make a run, I've been talking about it on the podcast since our first episode. If Aaron Rodgers can make a run, that is the biggest legacy mover we can have this year. Josh Allen, obviously, right? I mean, I just mentioned
Brock Purdy. He's a big shifter.
Of course.
If he can go out and get this 49ers team into the Super Bowl again,
without Ayuk, hobbled George Kittle. I mean, hobbled McCaffrey. I mean, yes, McCaffrey's numbers are there, but if you watch him play, every single tackle, McCaffrey just looks like, okay, it's over. And then
he even went out last game. We'll see if he can play this next week.
But then, kind of like Frank Gore style from back in the day, You know, he gets tackled. It looks like, okay, this is it for McCaffrey, you know. Like, oh, you know, what a great run. Next play comes in, ready to go.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I love McCaffrey.
They put Brian Robinson in for one play, and McCaffrey's like, get me back in. Like, 'cause Brian Robinson's really good to come in and just smash the defense.
Now, the MVP conversation is going to be interesting after this game. Drake May, obviously, you know, the Patriots are vying for that number 1 seed. Mm-hmm. The Rams might be third in their own division, right? Like, if they lose this game, if Seattle loses on Saturday night, the Rams are going to be third in the division.
You get the 6th seed.
Yeah, can you give MVP to Stafford with the Rams finishing 6th?
I mean, as of right now, with this Falcons game, like, he threw a pick to Jesse Bates, which was a pick 6. Like, he's had a couple bad games, a very bad game against the Panthers, you know, and had a couple interceptions there. But other than that, he's had a really good season, obviously. Yeah. But, you know, third in a division, obviously it's the best division in football this year, but, like, still, I think that's, you know, not good for his MVP case. Like, personally, I would just give it to Drake May. He's had a clean, you know, record throughout the full season for the most part. Unfortunately, they haven't had a hard schedule, so we can't weigh them against, like, the contenders. But we'll see in the playoffs how that comes. But this is a regular season award. Right now, I'm leaning towards Drake May. I mean, Josh Allen, you know, was non-existent.
No, you can't. Not after that Philly game.
Yeah, he was non-existent all the way until.
And he could have won it.
The fourth quarter.
Bad throw to Shakir at the end, you know.
But no, you can't put them in there. And then, Drake May is really my only choice for MVP.
Look, the MVP is between Drake May and Stafford for sure, right? One of those two guys is winning it. Josh Allen is not going to win it this year. Jonathan Taylor, no. Myles Garrett, potentially. But you can't give it to a guy on, like, 3-win team, 4-win team, whatever Cleveland's at. But look, let me make this case for Stafford, okay? If Seattle does not hit that 2-point play in that Thursday night game, Stafford's the MVP, right? Regardless of what happens tonight, regardless of what happens next week, Stafford would have won the MVP. If the Seattle offense fails to score that 2-point conversion, Stafford's the MVP. Now, that Seattle offense makes that 2-point conversion twice, not just once, twice, gives up a punt return touchdown. Should those factor in when you're making the MVP decision?
I mean, you could also say that throw to Ted McMillan would also have hurt that MVP case. You could also say that Jordan Davis blocking that field goal in the Eagles game took away that MVP from Stafford. So I think you can't, like, pin it on to single plays or single games. Like,
but
this is the full volume of the season.
I agree. But the thing with Stafford, look, I love Drake May. As a UNC guy, you know, right here, rep UNC, you know. I love me some Drake May. And shout out Ann Michael May as well. I'm a big fan of her Bakemas videos. A little sad that it's ended, but as much as I love Drake May, Stafford, like, he just deserves it. It's like a lifetime achievement award this year. Yeah. You know, because if Stafford wins the MVP, the entire all-time quarterback conversation changes. Stafford enters the conversation now. He's a Super Bowl winning quarterback who's won an MVP in the league. There's only 8 or 9 guys in history that have done that, right?
Well, if he wins it, do you put him over Aaron Rodgers?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Anyone who says Stafford over Aaron Rodgers just simply does not know ball. I mean, respectfully.
I agree. I'm just asking your opinion. I know you're a big Aaron Rodgers fan.
I don't think it's not even an opinion.
Yeah,
objectively speaking,
has, what, 4 MVPs?
He has 4 MVPs.
Yeah, that's untouched. You know,
he has 4 MVPs. He has a Super Bowl, and what people forget about Aaron Rodgers, and I've said this on the podcast before, and I'll say it again. Aaron Rodgers played in an era where Tom Brady was in his prime, Peyton Manning was in his prime, Drew Brees was in his prime, Aaron Rodgers was in his prime, and if you ask football fans, if you could take one quarterback for one play, one game, whatever, who would you have back when all 4 of those guys were in their prime? 95% of football fans would have said Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, like, he was the best out of the best 4 in, like, when we had to choose back then. Now, obviously, that's not how all-time conversations go, right? Playoffs matter. The championships matter. And Aaron Rodgers, hey, it is what it is. He didn't deliver. Like, in the NFC Championship game, he could have put it away against Seattle back in 2014, you know, scoring 10 points at home against San Francisco, throwing 3 picks against Tom Brady at home in the NFC Championship game. He's had some blunders in the playoffs as well, but Aaron Rodgers was so marvelous throughout his regular seasons that it's unfathomable that people think Stafford is better than Rodgers, especially when they played in the same division for 12 years,
I
and
think
Rodgers
it's
owned
recency
them.
bias. Like, I don't think people are like really actually considering that because they haven't looked at all the Aaron Rodgers' games. Like, like my generation, your generation, like we know a lot more about Aaron Rodgers even than Matthew Stafford.
Discount double check, you know.
Dude,
like,
he was insane. He was definitely the face of the league for a while, and I think since Stafford's at a higher level of playing now, that people are
I think Rodgers. I hope it doesn't come down to this, but I think his PR has also gone down a little bit because of the whole vax stuff.
Since he left Green Bay, it's kind of went downhill.
I mean, it started with the vax stuff, and then obviously, like everyone knew Aaron Rodgers is. He's a whatever kind of guy, right? Like he doesn't get along with his family. It's been pretty public for decades at this.
Years before.
Yeah, it's been known for years that he doesn't have a relationship with his family. His brother and him don't get along, even though Jordan Rodgers is a SEC media guy as well. Doesn't really get along with Aaron Rodgers. He's clearly, he's his own individual.
He's a goofball.
Yeah,
I mean,
but like you judge him based on his play. Bro's a baller. He knows how to throw the football. He knows how to zip it, and gotta call it what it is now. I will say this: the conversation does become interesting if Stafford wins the MVP this year and the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
If Stafford is able to win the Super Bowl this year, he's a 2-time Super Bowl champion, and has an MVP. I mean, okay, it's still Rodgers. Don't get me wrong, it's still Rodgers. Okay, it is still Rodgers. Rodgers is the top 5 quarterback of all time.
There's nothing that can happen in the next 2-3 years that's gonna move Aaron Rodgers.
But if Stafford's able to win the Super Bowl and the MVP, then maybe we can hear about it.
I mean, I agree. I mean, Stafford, taking his team to that top echelon, making it to the Super Bowl and winning it twice would be insane, especially because he only had a few years of this great level of
team success.
Individual
success he's had.
Of course.
Yeah.
He had the passing yards, he had the completion percentage, he had the touchdowns, all that stuff. He had the 5,000-yard passing seasons. He was insane with Detroit.
I mean, 3 of the greatest receiver seasons in NFL history have come at Stafford's hand, right? Calvin Johnson, Cooper Kupp is probably the greatest receiver season we've ever seen. Triple crown, Super Bowl winning catch. Cooper Kupp's up there. Obviously, Megatron with the most receiving yards in a season in NFL history. And Puka this year, if Puka doesn't, he missed 2 games this year. He missed 1 full game and basically the entire Baltimore game. If Puka's healthy this year, who knows? Maybe Puka would have broken the record with Stafford at quarterback.
I could see it, yeah, man. Like, especially with Devontae on the other side. Like, this season was just so perfect for the LA Rams, aside from these injuries that we've been talking about. Obviously, Devontae is still coming back from that hamstring injury. Probably rest him this next week and then get him back for that wild card round. But, yeah, Puka this season, insane. Matthew Stafford, as you said, been a part of those 3 historic seasons, and Matthew Stafford is one of my favorite players of all time for me personally watching, and I'm so happy that he's been able to join a good organization and actually win some big time games over the past few years.
For sure. For me as a sports fan in general, like I know Atlas knows this, but I always root for legends in the game, no matter what the sport is, right? Whether it's football, in basketball this year, I'm going to be rooting hard for Kevin Durant to get that title. I want to see great players while they're playing, be told how great they are. And the way they're done that is, it is what it is, but it's through team championships, right? Like, even in basketball, and it's a 5-on-5, game, Kevin Durant, people are going to look at him as a failure unless he wins the championship. I want Kevin Durant to feel, satisfied with his career because that guy is so good at basketball. He's a pure hooper. Once football season ends, we're gonna talk more basketball, and we'll give you guys our basketball takes, but one of the takes that I've had for years is the best, Kevin Durant is the most perfect basketball player you could have. He does not have a flaw, but he's not going to get remembered as such because he does not have the team success. Stafford, now he's not as good as Kevin Durant, and at least so far his career is not as good as Kevin Durant, but individually speaking, football is even more harder to judge individually, right? Because it's 11-on-11. You could kind of make the similar argument about Stafford. There's not a single throw he can't make on the football field. He moves around the pocket really well. He understands the game very well. His arm, he might have the strongest arm in football, especially at one point in his career. He definitely did. And even right now, he may still do. He can still zip it. So Stafford's kind of that same mold. And that first Super Bowl championship he got, he didn't get as much credit for it. Sean McVay got it. Cooper Kupp, obviously, with his triple Triple Crown got the credit. Now, this year, Stafford's getting his flowers. Cooper Kupp's not there anymore. You know, the Rams have rebuilt the organization. They have Baker Mayfield on. Stetson Bennett was their quarterback. I mean, seriously, they've had, like, you know, a couple of down years to get ready for this, and now Stafford's going to get his flowers. Let's see what he does in the playoffs. He's going to have to go on the road if he does win the Super Bowl, and it'll be an iconic Super Bowl if he does. Going to the road. All 4 games, basically, right? And ending it in San Francisco, divisional rival. If you were to do it, man, the NFL always knows how to put it on, dude. Always does.
Dude, the playoffs this year is going to be insane. You know, as an Eagles fan, I would not be looking forward to playing the LA Rams. You know, last year in the snow game, Matthew Stafford in that game, I was on the edge of my seat because I thought we lost that game with that Puka catch at the end. You know, he had him down at the very end, and I think this year, you know, the Rams are going to be coming back to the playoffs with a vengeance. You know, they're getting overlooked in the NFC West now. They're going to be likely the third best team as far as record-wise going into the playoffs from the West. And then, yeah, you had Philly. You know, they obviously have beef with them. And then there's multiple other teams.
San Francisco,
yeah.
Seattle.
Yeah.
Seattle has the best defense in football. Seattle, Houston definitely has the best defense in football. Mm-hmm. And Houston, you know, Houston's good, dude.
Oh yeah, dude. They have they're insane.
They started 0-3 and they're now 11-5.
Dude, shout out Davis Mills, dude. He really helped their team.
He resurrected that team.
Playoffs, yeah, and then CJ Stroud.
Shout out to D'Amico Ryans as well. People were down him early on in the year, and D'Amico Ryans has showed up, man. 3 years at Houston, 3 playoff appearances. He got rookie CJ Stroud, and the audience has been up and down on Stroud, but D'Amico Ryans, he won 11 games last year in Houston, 10 games his first year. He's won a playoff game both years in Houston, and now he's taking his team. He might win the AFC South depending on how next week goes. If Jacksonville loses and they're able to win it, shout out Houston. I mean, the entire playoff field, man, the AFC especially.
Yeah.
You take out Josh Allen and the Bills, and you have a bunch of teams that don't really have a lot of experience but are loaded. Mm-hmm. Denver, man, you look at that team up and down the roster. You know, you got defense, Nick Bonito on defense, Pat Surtain, and then obviously on offense, Sean Payton coaching it. RJ Harvey's coming alive. You know, Bo Nix, as much as we like to doubt Bo Nix, he's been able to deliver it. And you go to New England, obviously Drake May, Mike Vrabel leading that squad, great defense. Liam Cohen down in Jacksonville.
Yeah, let's go stay in the AFC South with Jacksonville for a second because Trevor Lawrence, the past 6-7 weeks, he's been insane. And then also, the defense that they have, especially Josh Hines Allen and then Trayvon Walker on the other side, teams are not having any time to pass the ball, and then their secondary is holding up on the back end as well. Travis Etienne, and then those receivers that Jacoby Myers addition has been very helpful for the rest of their receiving core. Parker Washington and Brian Thomas Jr. as well.
Sure.
So I think the Jaguars.
Brandon Strange has been coming along too.
Strange, they got a stacked offense. And I think, nobody wants to play them in the playoffs. And, the Jaguars could really make some noise, especially after, their game against the Chargers the past postseason as well,
For sure. I mean, I want to stay on Jaguars a little bit and talk about Trevor Lawrence for a second because he went to Jacksonville, I think people have forgotten how hyped he was coming into the league, right? As a freshman at UNC, this was back in 2019. Trevor Lawrence did not get drafted until 2021. 2 years before, when Trevor Lawrence got drafted, Clemson came into Carolina. I went to the game, and the talk of that game was the Panthers need to tank. At least amongst the Panthers fans at UNC, the talk was we need to tank so we can get Trevor Lawrence in Charlotte because this guy is so good. And, I remember back then it was a foregone conclusion that whenever Trevor Lawrence enters the draft, this will have been the greatest quarterback prospect to enter the National Football League since Andrew Luck and maybe even since John Elway back in '83. So, the Trevor Lawrence hype has gone down over the past couple of years in Jacksonville, right? I think it came alive. Obviously, his rookie year, we throw that aside. That was Urban Meyer year. We don't talk about it. The next year, with Doug Peterson, he made it to the playoffs. The hype was back again. And then, obviously, shit went down for the past couple of years, and the hype is gone. But Liam Cohen has brought back Jacksonville alive. Oh, yeah. Trevor Lawrence, man. don't forget about Trevor Lawrence. In the NFL now, it's hard to succeed with young quarterbacks. Quarterbacks need time to develop. You see Baker Mayfield. You see, Sam Darnold. You see these guys coming along. They understand the protection schemes. They understand. It's not the college game. It takes time to adjust.
Yeah.
And Trevor Lawrence, watch out for him, man. And he has a playoff win under his belt. He beat Justin Herbert in that 27-0 comeback in Jacksonville a couple years ago. He went into Arrowhead, almost beat Mahomes in the playoffs. So for sure, I'm pretty high on Jacksonville this year too. Now I don't know if any of these teams can get over either Josh Allen or Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs. I just like experience.
Yeah, I agree too. But like, yeah, Josh Allen, they got a lot to.
They gotta figure it out, man. Yeah. If Josh Allen and the Bills can't make it to the Super Bowl with no Mahomes in the field, when will they get it done? Is it time?
When Brandon Cooks is like your savior in the game against Philly, like
every time the ball went deep in that game, it was Brandon Cooks on the other side.
It was very frustrating to watch. I was like, "Where is Malcolm Jenkins at, man? Why can't he just concuss this dude one more time like he did in the
I mean, what happened with Keon Coleman, dude?
Dude, Cookie Coleman, bro. Like, let's get Cam Newton on our podcast and talk about this fool because he's been inactive for I think 4 to 5 games already this year, and it's like, man, you're supposed to be you were drafted to be a #1 receiver, and then he's fallen to the wayside. It seems like he's immature. Late to team meetings, just cares about himself, not really learning as he goes, and it's looking like he's off to a second pit stop, in his career.
Giving Kelvin Benjamin vibes. You remember Kelvin Benjamin?
Yeah, but
Popeye's biscuit away from being a tight end.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen Keon Coleman eat. Like
but I'm not talking about the eat. I'm just talking about vibes.
Oh yeah,
like Kelvin Benjamin. And once he became a Bill on the Panthers, he was fine. But once he got traded to the Bills, he just seemed like a receiver with talent that just didn't like. He just didn't want to work.
He just didn't do anything.
Yeah,
it's like it's not even. No, for my Eagles fan, it's not even the Nelson Aguilar vibes because Aguilar was getting open. He was just dropping the ball.
Yeah, he had a problem with drops.
Keon Coleman, he is dropping it as well, but he's just not getting open, and now he's not even getting in the games. And
I mean, he doesn't show up to meetings.
Yeah, he doesn't. Like, what do you do? What are you even focused on? Like, you're in Buffalo. There's only so much that you can do. Like, what are you doing?
We've given too much time to talk about Keon Coleman. He does not deserve this much time. In week 18 of the NFL playoffs, man. Let's move on from Keon Coleman, but. I do gotta say though, in the AFC, if you had to choose right now, if I gave you an option between either the Bills and Steelers or Ravens, right? One of the made men of the NFL,
Bills.
Right? Yeah, sorry, Bills with Josh Allen, Ravens with Lamar Jackson, Steelers with Aaron Rodgers. If I had to say one of those 3 teams make the Super Bowl or the rest of the field in AFC, you take rest of the field.
The Bills.
Oh, you take the Bills.
I still believe, Josh Allen's going to have to figure it out. This is his best chance at making the Super Bowl. I mean, Lamar, is he going to be even healthy for round 1 of the playoffs if they even get in? And then same thing with Pittsburgh.
I mean, speaking of Lamar, what is going on?
I don't know, dude. Is he going to be gone this offseason?
I have a hot take. If Lamar does not play this Sunday night in Pittsburgh, he's not a Baltimore Raven anymore.
I feel like you gotta play. Like your season's on the line.
It's a playoff game.
Yeah, it is a playoff game, and I mean, yeah, for me, I know he's dealt with. He's missed at least one day in practice. They said the past 10, 11 weeks, maybe even the full season. I can't remember what the stat was, but this is bad. I mean, and then on the Steelers side, DK getting suspended the last 2 games.
That might cost him the year.
That may cost him the year, and then if he comes, I mean, obviously he'll come back round 1 if they do play. But is there going to be chemistry issues there? How is their game?
Is Rodgers pissed at him?
Yeah, I mean, he probably will.
Is Rodgers gonna put him in the doghouse and not throw him the ball? And Darnell Washington, the Steelers, unsung hero, broken arm.
Yeah,
he's not gonna.
Bad, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, Pat Fryermuth's gonna get a healthy dose of the targets next week.
Well, he didn't get any targets against Cleveland until the end of the game.
Yeah,
it was
some
pissing
big
me
catches,
off.
that he had in the game.
And then I cannot understand what the Pittsburgh Steelers were doing. They're at the 5-yard line, game on the line, and they throw 3 go balls to MBS, who wasn't even on the team
against
week ago.
Denzel Ward.
Against the best corner.
Against the best corner. Denzel Ward, he's... After the game, he's like, I don't know what they were thinking.
Yeah, he said, I don't know which genius it was that wanted to try me for 3 plays in a row with the game on the line.
Yeah,
and I'm with Denzel Ward.
I am too, dude. He's a dog. He's one of the premier corners in this league.
Now, with that being said, it should have been a PI, but whatever.
The last one, I agree. But, I mean, you can't expect the refs to call that,
Yeah, no. You can't, as a coach, as a quarterback, you can't make a play expecting a yellow flag.
No,
and that can't happen. But, I mean... To me, in the AFC, as much as I love Drake May, as much as I love Bo Nix, I just raved about Trevor Lawrence. I still like the experienced guys.
Mm-hmm.
Give me Josh Allen in the playoffs. Give me Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs. If somehow Tyler Huntley figures out a way to beat Pittsburgh and Lamar Jackson comes back for the playoffs, regardless of what happened, give me Lamar Jackson in the playoffs. Give me. I think one of those three teams is going to come out the AFC. I mean, as much as I like the other teams, I think one of those guys is going to get it done. Now on the other side, look, man, as much as I hate the Eagles, I think they're looking pretty good.
Dude, right now, having 0 passing yards in the second half for 2 times this season and winning both of those games is pretty crazy.
It's crazy.
It is.
That you can win a game on the road, the second to last game ever at Highmark Stadium in Buffalo,
dude,
and win a game with Jalen Hurts throwing for 0 yards in the second half. That is insanity.
Shout out Sean McDermott.
Shout out Nick Sirianni, man. I think people hate on Nick Sirianni for no reason. That's a Sirianni stat.
Yeah.
That is a stat that shows what the value of a great head coach in football is. I know Sirianni is not considered, for whatever reason, is not considered one of the great coaches in football, but look at the results, man. In the NFL, you play 17 games. And some way, somehow, Sirianni has found himself in the playoffs every single year. He has the Philadelphia Eagles contending for the Super Bowl for the past 4 years.
Yeah, 11 plus wins the last 4 seasons.
He's gotten them in the Super Bowl twice, and this year they might be the 2 seed if they win this Sunday in Chicago. Chicago might rest their starters against the Lions. They might end up being the 2 seed. I think that
this 2 seed is incredibly valuable because
you think so?
Yes, because the Packers, they may be without Jordan Love. They've lost, Tucker Kraft, obviously. Jacobs has been hurt a little bit.
Yeah, you'd rather play the Packers than the NFC West teams.
NFC West is, torturous, dude. Especially, it's going to be the Rams, most likely, and I don't want to play the Rams as a 3
So
seed.
you think playing the matchup is better than playing the health?
Well, no, I think for the Eagles, having the 2 seed where you have the potential, or you're going to get the home game the second round as well.
Yeah,
it's a huge thing because the Eagles' home field advantage, me being biased, I think it's the best, at least in the NFC.
Over Seattle?
Yeah, over Seattle. Seattle hasn't been...
That's good, that's true.
We'll see, but this is a new
They're
iteration.
running on reputation.
Yeah, this is a new iteration of Seattle. Are you going to be in Seattle, chanting, let's go Darnold, all this other stuff, after he throws 3 interceptions?
I'm not going to lie, dude. I was at Bank of America Stadium a couple weeks ago against Tampa Bay, and that was a heck of a crowd down there in Charlotte. Now, I'm not making any claims that we have the best home field advantage, but we did cause a couple of false starts and a delay a game, dude. It was kind of beautiful.
Dude, I agree, man. I think the Panthers, Charlotte is hungry for a playoff team, hungry for a winner. Let's just hope, that 4 o'clock matchup on Sunday.
I don't even, I can't even say anything right now because I am so nervous for that game.
Yeah.
I am so nervous. That, as a Panthers fan, we've been in, we were in a game, in a win and you're in game against the Bucks a couple years ago, and Mike Evans went off for 50 fantasy points in the championship, fantasy championship round in 2022. But other than that, we've not played in a game this is a playoff game basically, right? Now even if we lose, like I was mentioning earlier, if Atlanta wins out, we might still get in. But either way, that was just a bad performance by Carolina yesterday, man. It was awful. 54 passing yards. That's not just on Bryce Young. That has to be on Dave Canales as well. What is the game plan for you to have 54 yards of passing? And J.C. Horn, you can't make that play. I don't know if you saw that. But 3rd and 21, what are you doing? You are our best player.
Dude, JC's had some moments this year where I'm like, Mike Jackson is honestly
give me 2 over 8 sometimes.
Sometimes, dude.
Sometimes give me 2 over 8. 8 sometimes a little too cocky.
Yeah, dude. I was talking to somebody, one of my Bears friends, and he was saying why did Nashawn Wright get snubbed over Quinyon Mitchell? I was like, Quinyon Mitchell is the best corner in the NFC. The person that he got snubbed over is J.C. Horn. Because Horn, while he has the interceptions and all the stats, he is gotten cooked by Drake London in one game, and then also by Chris Olave, and then a couple.
Chris Olave owns.
Chris Olave, yeah, this
JC
season
Horn
owns J.C.
both
Horn.
games.
Yeah, dude, but honestly, yeah, J.C. Horn, he got paid, and he's still the cornerstone of that defense. But he's had a couple moments where it's like, man, you're supposed to be.
You can't make that play on a 3rd and 21. You know better. You can have a missed tackle there. Yeah, it's fine. Someone will get him.
You were drafted. Wait, he was drafted before Pat Surtain.
Yeah, he was drafted 1 pick ahead of Surtain.
I mean, yeah, he's in the category with Stingley and Surtain, so you got to be, like locked down in those critical moments. And then for you to have McMillan, your number 1 receiver, get 5 receiving yards,
yes.
What are we doing as an offense?
3 targets, 1 catch, 5 receiving yards. What are you doing?
Yeah, it's not gonna work. And then on the other side, in that matchup, the Buccaneers, dude, what are they doing? How do they lose to Quinn Ewers? And what's going on with
complete
Baker
free
Mayfield?
fall. I mean, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers made, I think, the same mistake the Baltimore Ravens made in the sense that they let the better coach walk out of their building, and the Buccaneers did it twice. I think as much as we like to criticize Dave Canales, I think he's still better than Todd Bowles. I think Liam Cohen undoubtedly is better than Todd 100%. Bowles. And in Baltimore's case, they let Mike McDonald leave. Mike McDonald is, you could argue is the best head coach in football right now, right? I mean, Andy Reid's not doing so great. Obviously, Sirianni and Sean McVay. I think Sirianni and Sean McVay, you can keep him at the top. Obviously, Andy Reid, no one's going to touch him. But outside of those 3 guys, you can make an argument Mike McDonald's the best coach in football right now. And Baltimore let him leave. And Tampa Bay did the same thing twice. In back-to-back years, they let Dave Canales leave year 1. They brought in Liam Cohen, and then they let him leave and kept Todd Bowles as a coach, and now they're paying for it.
Yeah, I mean, Todd Bowles is a defensive coach. I mean, they've had their struggles defensively as well this year, but, losing 2 premier offensive guys, and Canales and then Cohen back-to-back years, it's shown, especially this year for Baker Mayfield. He needs that consistency. Jalen Hurts has had a different offensive coordinator every single year that he's been in the league.
And in college, right?
And in college, yeah.
Oklahoma with Lincoln Riley, then before that in Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
He had multiple.
Yeah.
See, he had Steve Sarkisian once, and then he had Lane Kiffin prior to that or something like that, yeah.
Yeah, but this is not the norm. People need to have consistency. I mean, Baker Mayfield coming to Tampa, he needed some consistency, and he's had that the past, 3 years that he's been there, but... this year I think he's dealing with a lot of injuries. Their wide receiver weapons obviously have been dealing with a lot of injuries. Good to see Mike Evans back, but that 1K streak's going to end unfortunately unless he gets 600 plus yards against the Carolina Panthers this Sunday. But yeah, it's been crazy, man. The NFC South is very weak, but yeah, let's go Panthers for this week.
For sure. No, dude, great NFL season, great slate of sports. Great year. This will probably be our last episode of 2025. We'll see everyone in 2026. We'll talk some basketball once football season's over, and we got one hell of a playoffs coming up. Yeah, man, great doing this in-person podcast.
Yeah, dude, regular season's over with. Let's get you back.
I cannot believe, dude. I remember this around maybe 9 or 10 months ago when I came back here. We were trying to do a prep show to see how it would go and whatnot. I remember before the year started, back in July and August, and we were just doing another prep show, and then the first episode, and just like then, the snap of your fingers, we're at the end of the NFL year, end of 2025. Time goes by so fast, man.
Yeah, man. It's 2026 is around the corner, and Statline Pod's only going up from here.
For sure.
The first in-person video of many. So. Thank you guys for watching.
Peace out.
Peace.
All right.